is to show you the making of a video that'll go on the YouTube site. So this will be a little bit longer video, but it'll give you the real nuts and bolts behind the scenes, exactly what goes into the making of one of these videos. In fact, this is going to be a pretty important video. It's going to be the trailer to one of the series on photographytv.com. So let me show you kind of the layout of what we're thinking about for this video, and then we'll take you from start to finish, the making of it. So important note, we're just getting started for the night. It's Friday night, and it is, let's see if we can see the computer screen here. It is right about 9 o'clock. So sorry about that. It is right about 9 o'clock. So we're just getting started. So we'll keep track of the time as we go through this. But what I'm showing you here is really my structure for the videos and what's going into it and kind of the layout and vision of all the videos that Photography TV is going to have. So one way that I've been explaining what Photography TV is going to do is we're going to have different series of topics within the site on different aspects of photography. So one of the series is travel photography. That'll be an entire series with multiple different episodes, right? Then there'll be taking better pictures, where I teach people ways to take better pictures. That's going to be a series. So the video that we're making tonight is the intro, the trailer to taking better pictures. And so you'll get to see that. And really it's just probably a 45-second video, just pumping that series up, get people interested in wanting to watch that series and learn to take better pictures. So that's a couple of the series. Travel photography, we've already done that series intro. This one's taking better pictures. We're also going to have Gear TV, and there'll be even another one on how did you get that shot. So those trailers are already out there, but tonight we're focused on taking better pictures and getting that trailer ready. So let me just show you the screen again, because I'll show you really as I take you through this behind the scenes of making this trailer, I'll break it down to 3 different stages. So the first is the setup, like what goes into kind of thinking through the content, what goes into setting up the video shoot and all of that. And I'll show you how much time that takes. Then we'll show you the actual recording, where you'll watch me just record it and take the footage. And then third, we have to edit it. So I'll break this video into those 3 segments, and I'll show you how much time each one of them takes, and you can see where the ultimate time spend lies. So as you think about setup, let's get started with that. Take you back here to my handy dandy spreadsheet. So I'm sure at some point I'll take you a lot deeper into what I did here with the spreadsheet, but I've got taking better pictures as the entire series, and you can see there's going to be multiple different aspects of this one. I'll take people through framing and composition, taking control of your camera, where you learn the exposure triangle. That's upside down, isn't it? Wait, is it? No, I'm just looking at it backward. Sorry. And then photo editing, all of those aspects will be under taking better pictures. So that's kind of the series. Again, here's how did you get that shot. Here's Gear TV, travel photography. So you can see I have the different shows. I have more planned out in the future, and then different episodes that I want to do. So I have tons of ideas. Again, I want to have in green here probably 5 or 6 posted to YouTube at this point. But this is the one we're working on today. So if I go here to this tab, Taking Better Pictures Intro, this is what I try to do for each video, is I just try to give myself a few bullet points to think about in the video. And you'll see where I use those to help prompt me during the discussion. But the good news is for tonight, I already wrote these bullet points that will help me with the video. So I wrote those probably a week or so ago. That probably took 15, 20 minutes. Again, this is only a 45-second video, so it was quite quick and easy to write those bullet points. Some of the more in-depth videos, 15, 20-minute videos, take a little longer to write. But this one's pretty simple, so that's step 1 of my setup, is just think through, I'm not going to call it a script, but think through it as the content and the bullet points that are going to go into it. So I've already done that. I'm ready to go. I'd probably say I'm 20 minutes in, which I already did that work in the setup. So now what we're going to do, we're going to head upstairs, and I'll show you the setup to get ready for the recording. So I'm going to head up there, and we'll get set up and show you what goes into that. We are now upstairs in the studio, or I'm calling the studio. It is just a little extra little game room we have upstairs that used to be Jesse's arts and crafts / sewing room. Now, fortunately, she was kind enough to let it be turned into this studio as I show you the tour of it. And she still has a little side table with some sewing stuff, but she definitely took one for the team on this. So this is the studio. We've got the white background. I'm going to use this setup a lot for just classroom teaching, kind of talking through stuff, just a different look, but it's also really easy to use because a lot of my video recording is going to be done pretty late at night. So shooting outdoors and things like that's just not realistic. So having this kind of setup indoors is very helpful, allows me to make content at any time of day. So that's helpful. So now that we're upstairs, you've seen a quick look at the studio. We are going to start to get ready for the recording. So earlier I showed you the spreadsheet that I work on, the way I kind of put out my bullet points and helps me with the flow of the content. So what I do, I actually have this whiteboard directly behind the camera. So when I'm talking to the camera, I just need a few prompts to kind of remind me what I need to talk about. So instead of having a cheat sheet I'm looking down at or something like that, I don't have a teleprompter. That'd be wicked cool if I did. But I have this whiteboard right behind the camera, so my eyes are still looking, right at the camera, as close to it as possible. And you'll see, I'll just have a few bullet points up there that I'll show you that are going to help me with the video. Now this one's easy because this is probably a 45-second video. Some of the 10, 12, 15-minute videos are a little tougher. The whiteboard's filled up a lot more, but I have to wing it a little bit more too, which is fine. So I'm going to put the bullet points up on the whiteboard, and we're just getting one step closer. In case you're wondering what video gear I'm using, I've got the Sony A99 camera, 24-70 2.8 lens on it. I'll probably shoot it at an aperture of 8 just because I want to make sure I give it as much focus as possible, 60 frames per second, and then I just let the ISO be on auto to kind of close things out. So that's the gear. I've got the 24-70, the Sony A99. What's really cool is I've got this wireless microphone system that I bought, and then I've got within the Sony A99, it gives us the feature of putting an XLR cable from an audio perspective, which just gives you higher audio quality into the system directly, so I don't have to do a separate syncing or anything like that. That's unique, I believe, to the Sony system. You can have this attachment, which you can see, and it allows the XLR input to go directly into it. So probably a lot of technical talk there that you might not have interest in, but I thought the gear that I use to shoot the video might be of interest to some, so that is what we're using. So the next thing I got to do to set up, and kind of last thing before we get going, is get the focus right on the camera, because I'm using a DSLR SLT in my case, but I'm using a camera that requires the focus to be right. And this is honestly something I've struggled with. Sometimes I miss the focus. I shoot a video and it just looks off. You probably may see some of those in the future where I just miss the focus. So try to get this right. But normally Jesse's here to help me with this and get the focus right. But tonight, she's off having a great night with Haley, special mommy-daughter date. So I'm on my own, which means I got to get the focus on my own. So little tricky because it's a manual focus. If you use autofocus, it kind of jumps around and loses focus quite a bit. So I'm going to do manual focus, and here's how I do it. So come over here. Hopefully you can see I have a nice little ladder with the computer set up at about the eye level that I'm going to be, and I'm just going to try to focus on that and then step in front of it and hope it gets me. I'll obviously check it just to make sure. But here is the camera, so I will just quickly test the focus and try to get that. Luckily on the Sony A99, it gives me what's called this peaking. You probably can't see it in the camera, but it highlights in yellow when I'm in focus. So I'm just going to look in there and make sure I get it as good as I can. And I think that's pretty solid from what I could tell. So I'll do a quick test video just to make sure it does look relatively in focus, but that's a key part of setup, and that can usually take a little while. If I miss focus a couple times, I got to redo it, but that's a key part, just making sure the setup is ready to go. We're getting close. So the last thing I need to do is just switch microphones to the wireless mic, which is going to be plugged into the real camera, the live camera, and I'll take this little mic off, which I have been using, plugged right into the iPhone. I'm shooting that all with the iPhone just for super simplicity. And we're going to switch mics, and then I'll sync those audios up so you can still hear me clearly as we go through this. And we are getting closer. I'm like not sure what camera to look at, so I have no idea which one I'm going to use. But I'll do a big clap, sync them up, and then I can use audio on either video, which is obviously easy to do. So, all right, audio should now be synced up, and we are ready to go. Anyone can be a great photographer. If you want to learn to take better pictures, this series is for you. One of the biggest challenges with learning to take better pictures is just knowing where to start and what to focus on. During this series of Taking Better Pictures, we'll take you step by step and show you exactly where to focus so that you can learn and have a good progress along the way. When I first started learning photography, that was one of the hard parts, is just trying to figure out what to learn and where to start. And that was something I'm just going to start over. I've lost my train of thought. Hopefully we only have to do a couple of takes. That's pretty normal. I kind of get into it and I try not to look at the board, even though I should. It's there for a reason. I try to just go completely off of memory, and I'm just dragging on. I want to make this crisp because it's an intro video. So let me just do a quick read through and then we'll be ready to go. Ready. Anyone can be a great photographer. If you want to learn to start taking better pictures, this is the series for you. One of the biggest challenges with learning is just knowing where to begin. In fact, I struggled with that myself as I started to learn how to take better pictures. I didn't know what to learn or what order to learn it in, and I found myself just scouring all over the internet for different topics at different times, and I was not efficient at all in what I should be learning. So during this series of Taking Better Pictures, I'm going to take you step by step in exactly what you should focus on and take you from the classroom and the technical side of things out into the field where we can take real shots and show you the application of it all. Now, one of the keys, I want you to watch all these videos so that you can learn it, but one of the most important things is for you to get out there and practice. So I'll give you some ideas and tips of how you can get out there and practice and try to bring this all together. Now, I speak from experience. As I mentioned, I was learning photography not too long ago. In 2013, I didn't know anything about taking better pictures. I would just turn into auto and just push the button and end up with what I got. But since that time, I've learned a lot, I've practiced a lot, and I've significantly improved my photography, and I know you can do the same thing. I share that experience because, as I mentioned, anyone can be a great photographer, and if you're ready, let's get started. So take a look at the next video in this series where I'll outline 3 things that you should be focusing on to start taking better pictures. I kind of messed that little ending up, so let me just do a quick little retake on that and I'll blend it in. I share that story with you because I want to assure you that anyone can be a great photographer if you put in the time and the effort. So let's get started. Take a look at the next video in the series in which I'll outline 3 things for you to focus on to start taking better pictures. All right. So there you have it. We just did the recording. That took me a few takes. I kind of struggled on a couple pieces there, but that's pretty normal. I don't over worry about it. That's what editing's for. You can easily blend different things in. As you'll see in the final product, it should flow smooth. So as you can see, that's the recording. That probably took maybe 10, 12 minutes. Let me see what time it is. Yeah, it's 10:05. So that took basically 20 minutes to actually do the recording. It'll probably end up being a minute and a half video maybe, I'm not sure, all in, and pretty simple to do the recording. That's the easy part. It's the setup and the editing. That's the hard part, or the time-consuming part. So now that we've done the setup, we've done the recording, it's time to get behind the computer and do some editing. So now we've got the recording done, the setup is obviously done. We are going to jump into Final Cut Pro and we are going to do the edit. Now, probably the most time-consuming part of the edit for me is actually finding all the B-roll, or in my case, just the pictures that I want to put in at different shots in the video. So that's not as much editing as it is just kind of going through and thinking through what I want to appear on the screen as I talk through the video. So I'm going to spend some time. It probably is going to take a little while, so I'm not going to keep the camera rolling, to find the content that I want to intertwine into the video so that it's not me just standing in front of the screen for a minute and a half. I need to kind of engage the audience with some cool pictures and things like that. If I can find clips of me in real video to use as B-roll, I'll use that. Otherwise, I just put up pictures. So I'm going to spend some time trying to find as much as I can from a B-roll perspective, and that does take me a little bit of time because I browse through videos, I think about what I said in the video, what would make sense to appear at different times, so I put a lot of thought into the footage. So I'm going to do that. It's 10:30 right now. I'll kind of check back in, let you know how long that took, but usually this is the longest piece of my intro video prep. I obviously don't have to do this for some of the other videos where I'm shooting the action as we talk through it. But in this case, where I need to find the B-roll footage, I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. All right, now that I've selected all the photos, that actually took almost an hour. I went through a few years worth of images. Luckily, I have them rated in Lightroom, so I'm able to at least look through really my favorite shots. But still, I went through the last 2 or 3 years worth of photos since I've really gotten into photography. And I just try to think about what was I saying in the video, what's the story I want to portray visually, and I'm trying to find cool and interesting shots. And hopefully shots that I haven't used in a lot of other videos. There'll definitely be some duplicates. But that takes me time just to go through and really think about the visual side of the story. So that took almost an hour, as it's now right about 11:30. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop into Final Cut Pro. I've got the images imported, and I'm going to get started on editing the video. Now, for purposes of time, I'm not going to show you all the way in which I edit it and all the details that go into it, but I use Final Cut Pro. I'm going to get to editing now. The editing shouldn't take too long because it's only about a minute-long video. I have all the content already there. I just need to splice it and time it and get it the way I want it. So I'm going to get in here. I'm going to do some editing, and then I will start to come in and kind of close things out once we get the edit made, and I will show you the finished product. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right into it. Just finished. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty excited about what you're going to see as far as this intro for taking better pictures. The final edit probably took me about 45 minutes by the time I got started. A little bit longer than I anticipated because I had to go find a song, had to create a different thumbnail, did have to find a few more pictures that I was thinking about. So it took me a little bit longer, 45 minutes for the edit, an hour before that for kind of searching all the different pictures. So let's just call it maybe hour 45, almost 2 hours for the edit. So if we had an hour close for the setup, maybe 20, 30 minutes for the recording, and 2 hours for the edit, you're looking at 3 to 3.5 hours from absolute start to finish on this video. That's probably longer than I spend on other videos, but with this being a trailer or an intro to an entire series, I wanted to make sure it was sharp, on point, and really told a good story, because the series of taking better pictures is probably going to be one of my primary, if not my most important series, because it's where people are going to learn. So I spent a lot of time on an intro. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and turn that on and get it started for you. Anyone can be a great photographer. If you want to learn to start taking better pictures, this is the series for you. One of the biggest challenges with learning is just knowing where to begin. In fact, I struggled with that myself as I started to learn how to take better pictures. I didn't know what to learn or what order to learn it in, and I found myself just scouring all over the internet for different topics at different times, and I was not efficient at all in what I should be learning. So during this series of taking better pictures, I'm going to take you step by step in exactly what you should focus on and take you from the classroom and the technical side of things out into the field where we can take real shots and show you the application of it all. Now, one of the keys, I want you to watch all these videos so that you can learn it, but one of the most important things is for you to get out there and practice. So I'll give you some ideas and tips of how you can get out there and practice and try to bring this all together. Now, I speak from experience. As I mentioned, I was learning photography not too long ago. In 2013, I didn't know anything about taking better pictures. I would just turn into auto and just push the button and end up with what I got. But since that time, I've learned a lot, I've practiced a lot, and I've significantly improved my photography, and I know you can do the same thing. I share that story with you because I want to assure you that anyone can be a great photographer if you put in the time and the effort. So let's get started. Take a look at the next video in the series in which I'll outline 3 things for you to focus on to start taking better pictures. Thanks for watching this video. I know it was longer and not quite as visually exciting with cuts and different pictures because I had to edit this really fast to try to get it available at the same time I launched the trailer. But thank you for watching this. It's now, I don't even know what time because I'm going to edit this after recording this, but thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the making of photography TV and just seeing what goes on behind the scenes. Please follow me on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. That's the best way for you to keep up with how we're building this site, and check things out on photographytv.com. And thanks for watching the making of it.